Hey guys, Dan here with Battlefield Curator, and a user recently posted a question on one of my videos that I just uploaded, and he says, why would you want to buy a spare parts kit if you don't have all the parts to make it a viable pew-pew yet? Well, it's a pretty good question. Now, here's my counter question. Would you buy a project car first, or would you buy the parts to rebuild a project car first? You would buy the project car first, and then you would know you would have the skill to know how to restore the project car, or you would know someone who has the skill to restore the project car, and you would also know where to get all the components from to restore the project car. So yeah, you would start off with your base project car and then get and work around that. And essentially, here are some more reasons why you would want to get a spare parts kit first before actually getting all the other components for it. All right, so the first thing, there are forums out there that have instructions on how to do it. So if you have the skill to do it, and you know how to do it, then you could look it up, you could do your research, and as long as you know where to get the parts from, where to get, how to do it, and where to get the information from the knowledge base, capture it, make sure you have it so that if for some reason the platform that it's on gets deleted, you still have that information. But, you could, if you know a machinist, you could do the fabrication, or if you know how to do the fabrication, you could do that yourself. On the Suomi kit that I got, I know I can get the components from Indianapolis Ordnance, and that's why I got the Suomi kit, because I did some research and I figured out how to do it myself, and I know a machinist that can help me out with it, and I also know where to get the proper components to make it a legal Suomi kit, a legal Suomi rifle. So from that is why I got the Suomi kit. The PPSH kit I got, that one I knew where to send it to get made. So, and then with your, my Colt M16A1 upper, that is pretty much easy to do yourself. Another thing is, even though Indianapolis Ordnance might not have all the components in stock, they have them listed on their website, and eventually they will replenish that, or I will hope that they will replenish that. But so far, I just need like one more thing, and then we can work from there. All right, so number 2 here, I'm gonna talk about supply and demand. You see a spare parts kit on a website, and you're like, oh man, I've always wanted one of those. It looks great, the condition's great, but what's the supply? You don't know the supply. You don't know the supply 10 years from now. What happens if the supply is pretty much done for? Like, that's it. That's all that's coming into the country, right? So a lot of these spare parts kits come from, class 3 type weapons, and then they get chopped up in the parts kit. So you don't know when they're going to get them. You don't know if they're going to be in worse condition. If you see something in good condition, you might as well get it. And if something you always wanted, you might as well get it. If something that you know you can do, then you might as well get it. There's another thing too, the demand. What is the demand for them? If you know the demand is high, then most likely if they come back into the country later on, they're going to probably be a lot pricier. So you probably want to secure it while the demand is they had to have supply, and the demand is probably still going to stay high. Then yeah, okay, so let's take economics into this and let's just get it now. So that's another reason why I got some of the parts kits that I got, because of the supply and the demand. All right, number 3 here on my list is the value. So these spare parts kits, they hold value. A lot of different military collectibles, weapons from World War I and World War II, the history behind them, the nostalgia, the industrialization, that's all part of history. And because of that, a lot of these have been in high demand. Well, because we live in the US, we can't get them transferred without being chopped up into the US. So yeah, you're gonna have to work from pretty much a spare parts kit. And that it still becomes collectible at that point because it's in the US. And that's all that's available to us. So maybe to a few other select dealers out there, there's a better availability of actual legal, NFA, stuff that they put on that they can actually attain. But for us general pogues in the US, we got the spare parts kits. So along with the value, you don't know what they're going to be worth in 5 to 10 years. They're probably going to be worth more. According to history, history has told us that, hey, these collectibles have gone up in value. So yeah, they could probably go for more. They might go for the same. But then we look at supply and demand again, and we say, okay, what's the supply? What's the demand? You can also argue that the monetary value of them, if you just hold it as an alternative asset over time, maybe you just want to hold it and then just sell it later, like 10 years from now. Maybe you just want to hold it because, it's something that will retain its value or go up in value, So there's those aspects when it comes to the monetary value of them as well. All right, and number 4, let's just say you just want it for the history of it. We talked about these being historically significant. These were made for some of the roughest times the world has ever seen. And we look back on that and we say, wow, man, it's crazy. World War I, World War II, all the European conflicts. I mean, there's still conflicts out there right now, and some of these are still involved in these conflicts, some of these weapons. But we look at, time and history and we say, man, to own a piece of history like that, a significant piece of history, is like owning fine art, Some of these were handcrafted. Some of these were hand-built. They were put together by hand. They were, not mass manufactured in like what we see weapons manufactured today, like, in like these robots are manufacturing these things. Now, it wasn't like that back then. More attention to detail was taken back then. And essentially, what we see is that people like these for the history. Maybe they want to put a dummy receiver on them and put them on the wall to display for their friends, or maybe they just want to display it in the office. Who knows? But people do collect these for the history. Well, with that being said, that's all I can think of from the top of my head. So if you have another reason why you would want to invest in a spare parts kit, just put it in the comments section. And if you like this kind of content and friends that also like similar content, be sure to share this video with them and share my channel with them. It really helps me out, especially if you pulverize the like button, subscribe for the algorithms, totally helps out. So I definitely appreciate it. And as always, be sure to learn history and curate history. Make it a great day.